on research, development, and innovation. My name is Alexander Tsaronis, education specialist at the ADB, sorry, and I will briefly introduce the session. In the next hour, we have two different presentations coming up. Each one follows the same format, 15 minutes presentation followed by 50 minutes Q&A. Feel free to post your questions into the chat box. During the first 30 minutes, Dr. Jayson, Stanislav Borisov, and Rithika Thomas will present how the EcoLabs Centre of Innovation for Energy, established by the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, supports energy sector startups, SMEs, and corporates in building innovation and business capabilities. In the second presentation, starting at 5 p.m., Mr. Pham Van Quan, rector of the Hue Industrial College in Vietnam, will present how his college, which is a vocational college, engages in applied research, and in the past year also conducted COVID-19 mitigation measures. That's all from me. I'm wishing everyone an insightful session, and I pass on the word to our first presenter trio from Singapore. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ADB organizers, and participants. I'm Jayson, and together with me, my colleagues from EcoLabs are Stas and Rithika. We are very thankful to ADB for giving us this opportunity to speak here for the first time on the Skills Forum. And we hope that this presentation will be beneficial to the participants. Next, please. Right, next, please. Right, for the agenda, I'll be giving a brief introduction on what we do at EcoLabs. And we have selected two projects as part of what we do in our portfolio. So one of them is on the ecosystem development. We are providing, partnering with regional universities, organizations to roll out fintech education for energy practitioners. And another example that we'll go through in the later part of the presentation is Project Share. Right. So without further ado, let us go into the overview. Right. It's a brief introduction. EcoLabs is part of Nanyang Technological University, and we are under the umbrella of Energy Research Institute at NTU, ARIAN for short. So ARIAN itself is an energy-focused research institute with more than 250 industry researchers working very closely with companies on high technology readiness industry topics. And then EcoLabs itself, we focus on technology translation. We are supported by Enterprise Singapore and also Sustainable Energy Association of Singapore. Next. So very briefly, we are a team of more than 20 industry professionals. Most of us have an area of expertise in different domains of energy space. And another group of people are highly trained in technology and commercialization. So we broadly categorize ourselves into two teams, technology translation and accelerator. So under technology translation, we focus on working very closely with startups and SMEs to do direct innovation projects, helping them to find corporate partners to do test bedding. So through the test bed, we were able to identify gaps in their product and find solutions and expertise to help to bridge this gap and help them to solve the problem in the initial phase. We also very focused on building flagship projects with industry leaders, which we'll go through a bit more later in the later part of the presentation, and also form physical joint labs within our campus. On the accelerator side, we also work closely with companies, agencies, perform large-scale co-innovation programs, grant calls. So as an incubator, accelerator, we also support SME startups in terms of fundraising, market entry in the global markets. And very recently, we are in talks with multiple partners from Korea, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Ukraine, to form global program in our own country. And last but not least, on the ecosystem development, we hold courses, which Stas will touch on a bit more in the later part. Thanks. So very briefly, we focus on 60 broad areas under energy space. We have the luxury of riding on our Energy Research Institute mothership, which covers a wide span of energy research. Beyond these 60 verticals, we also work closely with local institutes in Singapore and regional to cover areas that is not inherent to areas of research focus. Next. So just briefly on what makes us unique. So right from the inception, we want to be a bit different from the traditional incubator accelerator, which focusing on mentorship and providing space for startups, SMEs. We believe that anchoring a project with a potential customer and test bedding is the key for technology translation and commercialization. So right from the start, we spend no effort to contact potential partners, reach out to all the regional companies who has very strong emphasis on sustainability. And in the last few years, we have secured more than 30 test bed sites within the campus and with the partners. So your pictures here on the right, you can see some of the locations that we have conducted test bedding projects. Next. The second point that makes us unique is our in-house expertise. So under EREN, we have more than 250 industry experts working on different areas of energy research. Next. So last but not least, what makes us really strong in the area of translation is we work very closely with all the sustainability leaders in this region. So these are some examples of what we do as a flagship program with all these corporates partners. You can see from here, Arrow, Mistletoe, Emerson, Blue Ashfar. So later on, Rithika will share a bit more on what we do in Mistletoe. Thanks. So from after this, I'll hand over to Stas to give you a bit more insights on the courses that we are operating with the regional partners. Stas, over to you.
Thank you, Jayson. And hello to everyone. My name is Stas. I'm an innovation manager at EcoLabs. And what Jayson mentioned earlier is our core work, of course, working with startups. And by nature of this work, we're working closely with a number of corporate partners, investors, government agencies. And we've heard from them a number of requests, or we've seen the interest basically in clean tech and sustainability education. Then we thought to bridge this gap by leveraging the expertise of our in-house experts, industry experts, technology experts, and commercialization experts, and to build courses and modules for our partners based on their demand. So my presentation will be focusing more on the educational part. It's fairly new for EcoLabs, but we see a very strong interest in it. And let me show you a few examples. So first of all, of course, what Jayson mentioned earlier, since we're closely connected to Energy Research Institute at NTU, with the hundreds of researchers and people from the industry within the energy domain, we have technology experts from NTU, which is even larger university. And of course, within EcoLabs, we have over 20 people who spend a lot of time and a number of years helping deep tech startups to commercialize from the lab to the market. And of course, the last group, which is I think very important and critical in this part of education, it's implementation experts. It's the startups themselves who are working with cutting edge technologies, delivering these solutions to the clients. So that's an important practical element of it. And of course, on the other side, the partners who benefit from such courses and trainings is corporate partners, universities, investors, and even governments. Later on in the presentation, I will show you a few examples how we structure these courses for our partners. But as you can see, we have a strong supply and strong demand sides. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Again, briefly touched by Jayson, we have a lot of smart people working in the area who are experts in energy storage, in hydrogen fuel cells, as you can see, smart and sustainable buildings and smart cities, future mobility technologies. So there is a lot of expertise in-house with the people dedicated their life and career to a specific technology or industry. On the commercialization side, we have the team over 20 people. Again, we're working day to day, helping startups to translate the technology from lab to the market. And the last but not the least group, is our startups. As you can see, we're covering a number of areas within energy domain, including renewable energy integration, carbon reduction, e-mobility and future mobility technologies, green buildings, IoT, and smart city technologies. So if we go to the next slide, please. We use the approach of modules as the building blocks. So basically, each module is provided by one of the experts and covers different topics. So starting from the first 3 blocks on the left, a bit on the broader scale to understand what are the new energy trends, what are the key technologies, and how the industry is transforming itself, to more specific related to smart grids, energy storage solutions, smart multi-energy systems, fuel cells, and so on and so forth. So there is a number of models that we use to build our courses. So each module can take up to the whole day, depending on the interest and how deep we would like to go. And then by combining the modules, we can build courses. So after each course, participants get the certificate from the Nanyang Technological University that they completed this training, they completed this course. And again, these courses are very practical and tailored to the industry and to the participants. So we can go to the next slide, please. Here I have a few examples of the courses that we've conducted over the last year. So starting from the power industry transformation, this is the course which perfectly illustrates the major trends that are happening within energy industry and how they impact the industry, and where corporate partners, investors, and other stakeholders need to look for, and which kind of technologies will be the future of the industry. So this particular module was taught by Anne, which is an expert who spent a number of years working in Europe in the energy industry and later joined Energy Research Institute at NTU. And she is leading this particular module, which was conducted last year, and this year we were going to repeat it because of the high interest in this topic. And as you can see, interesting part of this course is that we have startups who are also presenting their solutions to highlight some of the technologies, some of the trends. And these startups, they're working closely with the in the industry, deploying this cutting edge solution. So again, it's a very hands-on practical course. So we can go to the next slide with the next example. So this is an example of the course, which we built up specifically for the NTU MBA program and NTU MBA students. So you can see that we have 6 modules within this course. And of course, the course itself takes several months with each module taught in 1 week time, like during one class. And it covers, of course, the major trends as decarbonization, digitalization, and decentralization that happening in the energy industry. And there is, for each model, we have a different subject matter expert who is teaching this particular course, including, again, startups and technology providers. Yep. Then we can go to the next slide, please. And another course example, which unfortunately I cannot reveal all details as of yet because of the confidentiality. But this course is even bigger in scale. So as you can see, there is already quite a number of modules included in it. So it's a very comprehensive course, which we're building for one of our partners. And for this course, we also leverage quite a number of industry professionals. And I think what is interesting is that we tailor these courses not only to a specific industry, company, or academia, but sometimes this request might be tailored to a specific country or worked in a collaboration with our partners or maybe new partners and universities in these other locations. So I think one of the examples Jayson can mention to you where we work and partner with ADB to deliver one of such courses. Jayson, please.
Yeah, just to fill in what Stas has mentioned, we are in talks with ADB to customize a course focusing on electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles. So the training partner would be with Tesla. So we are the main focus of this is to train research professionals, policymakers, industry professionals, and also to prep the industry and also the academia for eventual test bedding opportunities. So we are happy to speak to any universities and partners in the region for similar course and any areas in the energy space. Thank you.
Thanks, Jayson and Stas. So today I'll be speaking more about Project Shia, the Next Generation Civilization Kit. And the term Shia itself means to share. And it's a joint initiative with EcoLabs and Mistletoe to bring about the change in the design of future cities with the concept of sharing and conscious living to sustain, collectively reducing our carbon footprint. Our team is multidisciplinary, consisting of architects, engineers, technologists, and over 350 youth across the world. Just to set a bit of context, I'm sure we're all aware of this, that our cities are increasingly unsustainable, unaffordable, and socially unequal in terms of access to basic needs. And this was the seed of the project that we planted in 2019 to rethink conventional living, to express individuality, democracy, modularity, and functionality with resource efficiency and conscious consumption pattern as the core values, reducing our individual carbon footprint. The flagship project of EcoLabs brings about the change in the design of future cities. The project addresses the shift in mindset that we cannot solve today's problems with the same thinking that we created them. Our approach is to build consciously, taking into account people, planet, and profit, and the interrelationship between them. The goal of the project is to design an integrated systems thinking approach to a modular prototype that is affordable, compact, portable, and promotes decentralized communities. We are focusing currently on phase one, which focuses on shelter, energy, water, food, and clothing. And through experimentation and prototyping, we will add more layers based on the needs of the community. Through extensive research in-house, we looked at what does an individual consume in terms of space, energy, water, and waste. And this being the basis of a blueprint for the next generation civilization kit to aid innovation in all the following domains. We're using a modular approach, which is designed to design the lowest order of space, being a matrix of a 3 by 3 meter square, and the option of flexibility in configuration. Just to explain our approach again, the project is co-creative with multiple stakeholders, professionals, corporates, and an active youth community in line with the UN SDG goals to build a collective future. Youth across the world have been actively engaged through competitions, events, and workshops to ideate their future communities and what that would look like. We're actively also working with the startup technology realm, where innovation calls for startups in the following domains of energy, water, food tech, and clean tech. All are looking at testing and deploying these solutions in the prototype. Lastly, we are creating a digital twin to measure, nudge, and encourage the occupants' behavior on the potential of resource saving opportunities where modern comforts are not compromised through a gamification process. The digital dashboard empowers occupants to be aware of their carbon footprint, as well as the resource impact, take action, and earn future rewards. The Shia Co-Innovation Lab has its base in Singapore, and we're looking at creating prototypes across ASEAN and SAARC, mainly due to the climatic reasons. We are currently in conversation in India and Philippines, and I'll share some examples coming up. We're engaged with local governments, communities, and innovation think tanks to build resilient futures. Our community is vibrant and innovative, and we have test bedding partners, technology solutions, a vibrant community of outreach, as well as impact collective organizations, as well as universities. And how can we look at education being a tool to empower the community? All of these institutes and partners are at the forefront of innovation and align in the project's vision to build decentralized, sustainable communities through an integrated systems approach. Through the implementation of our projects, we're looking at addressing over 12 of the UN SDG goals through a modular systems thinking approach with a lower carbon footprint living. I'll be explaining iteration 1, where we're looking at working with 7 local startups, 4 local SMEs, and 5 international collaborators, and expanding across with our 10 community partners after. With Project Shia Prototyping Lab, we're looking at building a robust ecosystem with local and international startups, professionals, and an active community. A community where you can innovate, showcase, and test a one-stop proof of concept prototyping lab for startups as well. We have extensive lists of partners in the domain of clean tech, energy, water, waste, and sustainable living. Now, just to explain what this looks like in a physical form, we test first the outer structure. So in terms of construction technology and materials, in terms of energy technology. So that's your PV systems, your solar panels, your PV, your battery systems, as well as an electrical dashboard. In terms of food tech, can we look at alternative proteins, vertical hydroponics, etc. In terms of water tech, off-grid water systems, extracting water from air, as well as waste management systems. Lastly, we're always open in testing alternative technologies that are cutting edge, whether it's waste management system, personalized air conditioning systems, etc. So all this is in line with achieving smart partnership goals to support an innovative approach for the new normal. In terms of co-innovation, we are looking at democratizing design to build future communities, tap onto innovation from youth, education, and startup in the engineering and architecture domain. How we're doing this is through a civilization kit, which is a physical form that I'd shown you earlier, as well as community building, and how can we create a democratic framework. We started crystallizing all these through engagement principles that we work with students as well as academia. Break the barriers of thinking, innovate without fear, create healthy competition and collaboration, responsible and empathy building, creating a maker culture, and diversity and inclusion. All these are guiding principles that we work with the students through the exploration of the project and focused on creating ethical and community-centered leaders of tomorrow. Now, to explain our future iteration, we're looking at the new normal, where we are understanding self-sufficiency on a community scale with a global shift towards decentralized system, supported by a centralized network. The focus, as mentioned before, is on shelter, water, energy, and food, and understanding the interrelationship between them to create a kit of parts, which will be explained in the coming slides. We're looking at how does an individual create a unit scale and how does that grow into a community. To test the above principles, we've worked with over 10 universities across the world, and they looked at targeting the youth as well as students in Singapore, India, and Philippines for now. Just to explain our engagement model, we're looking at the learning phase first, which focuses on learning at scale and hybrid learning, preparing learners with better employability and real-world project execution. In terms of deployment, how do we integrate smart, sustainable building technology and actually test them out? Lastly, in terms of co-innovation and experimentation, which is testing and deploying humanity-centric technology solutions and a digital twin to measure and nudge human behavior. How we work with the startup ecosystem is that we're looking at the previous technology domains that we focused on, whether it's alternative sources of energy, battery storage, energy management, and passive technology. In terms of water systems, rainwater harvesting, drinking water, gray water, as well as black water systems. In terms of food tech, how do we look at local plant species, hybrid systems of growing smart technologies and monitoring systems, as well as harvesting systems. In summary, a comprehensive living kit where the needs of an individual are met, identifying local consumption patterns, alternative sources of resources, as well as encouraging conscious user behavior. One of the examples coming up are our collaboration with the Commission of Higher Education in the Philippines. And we're looking at how do we expand this project and contextualize and localize it in another country. We are working with the commission, which works with other universities. And what we give them is an opportunity to implement these solutions with our guidance. We are working very closely with over 5 universities currently. And due to COVID, we are looking at a flexible delivery as well as mode of communication. Some of the examples of the students' work are in the circles below. And they are looking at using local materials, be it bamboo or alternative sources or clay. And how do we localize these solutions to create communities across? In India, for example, we're looking at empowering a community to build a resilient flat pack modular home for informal settlements, focused on the community and locally driven design technologies. We're in discussion with universities in India and Singapore to create a joint program for multiple prototypes. The essence of this project is, can you have a simple tool of an Allen key to create a structure? And how does that look like? Through the example showcased today, we hope our model of project delivery is inspiring to you all and will promote collaborations to adopt project-based learning in universities and implement innovative projects with global partners. We envision this project to be a great platform of exploration with ADB and affiliated partners to create a nationwide collaboration with university, academia, and youth organizations, project deployment and test sites for future iteration. And at the end of the day, create integrated infrastructure and capabilities for testing plug-and-play solutions. With this, I'd like to end. Thank you for your attention, and please feel free to get in touch with any of us for further information. Over to you, Jayson, to summarize.
Right, so I hope these two presentations are beneficial to you. And you know, just as a short closing remark, we cover more than these two projects. We have a wide portfolio, and we are happy to speak to any interested party in the region. Our contacts are here. Feel free to contact us offline, and we can have a one-on-one discussion. I believe we still have a few more minutes. If there's any questions from the floor, we're happy to take it. If not, we'll hand over to Alex for the next presentation.
So thank you for sharing these inputs. We have 4 minutes left for Q&A. So if anyone has a question, please just raise their hand and get involved and ask the questions. Until then, I just want to highlight that I found it very interesting, and these examples showed that innovation is not a coincidence. It's not just something you can train. It's about having a lab and bringing players together. It's about sharing knowledge. We saw the modules that you have set up. It's about sharing the knowledge of experts, and also working towards a proof of concept, and not just having ideas, but work towards proving it. And I think this was very interesting. Do we have any questions from the audience at this point? Maybe I can pose a question regarding your plans to expand into other countries. So what's the timeline of this, and how can people get involved in these initiatives?
Right. So we are speaking to multiple parties, so they are obviously on a different time scale. Some are close to establishing the program as we speak. Some are at the initial stage. So actually, we are actually ready to speak to any interested party who wants to write on this program at this moment. Yeah. Especially, I can just raise two examples. We recently make an announcement with CSRO Australia to roll out a low emission hub program in both Australia and Singapore. So we're happy to work with any partners in this region in the area of low emission, especially in hydrogen area. And yeah, we're also talking to New Zealand authorities for similar program in other areas.
And what kind of partners are you looking for? Is it engineers? Is it research partners? Is it business partners, startups?
Right. So we are looking to partner with universities or to bridge a gap in the commercialization stage. We're happy to talk to SMEs, startups, and also corporates. So the end goal is to bring technology, new solutions to the test bedding sites and prove this to be valuable for the project sponsors.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. I didn't see anything from the audience. One question would be, you've showed various fields that you are active in. I mean, kind of all of these, it's digital and renewable energies and future technologies. Which one of these technologies you say has shown so far the most promising results, or have been most dominant in making the jump into the market?
It's getting really excited in the space of energy and sustainability. Just to name a few, it's really hard to rank them in exact order, but we are seeing a lot of interest in electric vehicles in this region, autonomous vehicles, carbon management, and also in the renewable energy space.
Okay,
so
thank you very much. Yeah,
right.
Thank you very much, Jayson. I think this ends the first session of this Innovation Marketplace session. Thank you very much to Dr. Jayson Ko, Stanislav Borisov, and Rithika Thomas for taking the time and presenting concisely. So now I would like to invite Mr. Pham from the Hue Industrial College to take on the stage and present his interesting presentation about what his college has been doing in terms of applied research and also COVID-19 mitigation measures. Dr. Pham?
Okay, so can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the ADB for inviting me to this very big forum for skin. You know that now in Vietnam, some stay lockdown. Somebody like me have to stay at home more than 1 month. So we're very lucky, and we are very hoping to see you on this time. And we will take this chance to introduce about our college, Huế Industrial College. Hey, my name is Quan. My presentation focusing on R&D and innovation activity in Huế Industrial College for the COVID-19 pandemic mitigation. So my presentation including the 4 parts. My presentation including 4 parts, and it's something related to the 19 COVID, so it's only 19 slides. So please stay with us in a few minutes. First, let me introduction about our school. You know that Huế Industrial College established more than 122 years ago, and we are located in the center of Vietnam. You see that? And the Huế city is a city of tourism. So if you have any chance to visit Vietnam, please come to visit Huế city and visit our college. So let me show with you some video about introduction about our college.
Students really develop more confidence, collaborative work, and in presenting their work.
Teachers very young and active, students also very active. I have very good impression with Huế Industrial College.
Huế Industrial College has a very close relationship with Australia.
Inform the development of standards in Vietnam.
If Microsoft just gives the technology but doesn't have an organization that can help train and deploy, then it's not going to be very useful. But if Huế IC can contribute to that, then it will be very good for Microsoft, for Huế IC.
Okay, that's some information about our college. So the main point of my presentation today is about research activity in Hue Industrial College. So we know that we are the vocational college. So the research mainly focusing for the research for apply for the enterprise, for the company, and for the local community. We have the responsibility for solving any matter with the enterprise and the local company. Here in my presentation, we are try mainly focusing on our R&D for the community support and for the COVID-19 mitigation. So on my set is that we consider an NGO should be a social doctor who can repair any social matter during the natural disaster or pandemic. To do that, we have a lot of support from the very new community of enterprise to connect with our colleagues to carry out some research and bring the research into the practice. You see here in the with very limited fund from the government for research, around 100,000 US dollar per year. But we still can publish around 100 paper and research each year, in which 10 to 20% is international paper. We also proud to be one of the best school for the publication in Vietnam. Here you can see the fund. Yeah, we have only around 100,000 US dollar per year, and you see the trend of the down trend for the due to impact of the 19 COVID. So in the next year, the fund for the R&D will be reviewed, but we can have so many ways to do that. For some special aspect, we also quite strong at information technology. You know that University considered at the center of human resource for the IT in Vietnam. So we have a lot of support from committee for the education and some research for the IT. Also for the electric and IC design, we also get a lot of proposal from the ministry for research in the supporting industry in Vietnam. And also for the environment engineering, you know that in Vietnam is the agriculture country. So we get a lot of requests from the society for the support the local people in preparation the packing or for the treating the drinking water for the farmer. The main part of my presentation today is about our community support program. So in our mindset, we think that the students come to school not only learn to know, learn to do, but they have to learn to be and learn to live together. So based on that, we every year we send the student and the lecturer come to the remote area, to mountainous area to carry out some community support program. They do the repairing for the household equipment for the local people, and also organize some short training course with the hope that they will have a chance to increase their income in the future. For the pandemic, native COVID when it's come to Vietnam last year, we are the first school in Vietnam. We are not a medical school, but we are the first school in Vietnam who can produce a hand sanitizer. You know that at the time when the COVID comes, we do not know anything about the COVID-19, and we lack of everything from the hand sanitizer, from the face mask, and everything. And our school had some initiative and for the hand sanitizer, for the right ATM to support the poor people who may not their job. And we also can produce some robot for medical support, some automation disinfection device, and provide some training course for the local people who lost their job due to the COVID. Here is some picture about our community support program for students. we send students to the mountainous area for the support local people, and also beyond that program, we will educate the student come to be a good person in the future. Here is some picture. We last year we are facing with not only COVID-19 but also very heavy flooding in the center of Vietnam. So after flooding out, we come and repair the motorbike, repair the car, and repair the electric device for the local people. Here is some picture about our very famous activity in Vietnam. We produce a hand sanitizer for ourselves, and we are freely distributing for the other province, to 9 other province, and to around the 300 schools in Vietnam for mitigate the impact of COVID-19. And after that, we also have another idea for the dry ATM or the robot for the medical support. So beyond this activity, we think that we can get the support the students to improve their skilling and creative and innovative learning environment for students. And beyond this activity, we also let them a chance to explore their potential of each student, let them believe on themselves. And we hope that beyond this activity, we will educate them to be a good person in the future. In addition, we also very famous for the community support program. You know that in the clip we show the some community support program. We come to the mountainous area, some rural area, and provide some short training course for them. So let them have a chance to raise their income in the future. And the first we do it by ourselves, but from last year we get a support from GIZ for the provide some short training course for the labor who have maybe impact from the COVID-19. And from next year, from 2022 to 2024, we will have the support from the one project supported by ADB with the grant fund in the SPEC project, and we also have the chance to organize some short training course for 300 to 400 people in the center of Vietnam. That is some activity I would like to share with you about the research and activity from the Industrial College for the mitigation of the impact of the COVID-19. For the conclusion, we think that each institutional should be center of community not only for the education training but also for the society servant. If are there any matter of the society, we have to solve it. This is our duty. The second thing that COVID-19 is a chance to train the mindset for better life. I think that this is a good chance for the student to change their mind, and also their parents to change their mind. They usually only want to come to university, but now they have their change their mind. And also the native COVID also have a chance for the lecturer in our college change their mind for the better quality of the lecture. And last, with open heart from the OK, we can proud to say that with open heart we can do anything, though with very limited resources. Okay, thank you very much for the watching, and please feel free to share your question related to my presentation.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Pham. Again, I would extend the invitation to the participants to ask questions or just comments, as we see just here in the chat box. Somebody is writing that the university has the very same mission as the commentator's mission, that they also provide short courses to communities and long courses from certificate level to bachelor level. So any other comment or question to Dr. Pham? Maybe I start with a question. You showed that you do applied research in various areas. I would be interested to know what, and you have very many partners as well. My question would be to you, what are the research areas in highest demand at the moment in Hue at your partners?
I think the high demand is for the IT. IT, you know, that the center, Vietnamese government already decided that Hue City is the center for the human resource for the IT. So we try to provide the resource not only for the Hue City, but also for the Vietnam and other countries.
And what kind of IT areas are we talking about? Because we often, when we think about innovation, we talk about the very high-end areas, Industry 4.0, Internet of Things. Mm-hmm. Where's your trajectory at the moment?
I think we try focusing on the writing the mobile app. You know that in Vietnam is very, very famous for the number of people who they have mobile phone. So we would like to that the mobile phone is a connector. So everything had to be on the mobile phone.
I'm talking of the apps. What kind of apps is it? I saw that the pictures that you showed, this included a game, I guess, but is it also business applications that solve business problems, business challenges?
That is a game for student challenger. And based on that, I think that after the challenger, they will get the support from the startup for the commercialize that their application.
In the context of the importance of IT and growing importance of IT, one key question that we always at the ADB look at is teacher and the lecturer education and upgrading. And we often say that the teachers might be a bottleneck who did not grow up with technology and they find it a hard time to teach IT software languages. How is it for you at your college, and how do you update the knowledge of your teachers?
I think that everyone talking about the limited infrastructure for the coming with the fourth industrial revolution. But I think that infrastructure is not so main problem. The lecturer is the main. We try to encourage them to prepare some online lecturer by using their mobile phone, not only for the high quality or high end technology, but I think that the quality and the message on their lecture is much more important than the technology. And together with that, we also spend a lot of money for the preparing for the online course due to the COVID-19.
So may I ask a follow-up question? How do you approach the upgrading of the teachers? Is it courses that are available online that you look up, or is it courses that maybe the local education board provides to your college? How does it work?
I think that we in Vietnam, we will try to select around 10, 20 college, and then we try to build an ecosystem. So each school to prepare some measure, and then we share together. And one school should not do everything, so we share the mission, and I think that maybe the end of the year we'll have got enough database for the student for online learning.
Okay, ecosystem approach, I see. So I see also a question coming into the chat box. Maybe I just read the first one here. The first question by Albert is, how do you manage resources to help with the repairing of agricultural equipment and electrical, etc.? Do you want to answer to this, or maybe Albert wants to come into the chat to expand on the question?
No, I think that's a good question. You know that we are not the rich guy, but we have the open heart. We do with the aim for the education the students. So we do the community program by our own practice, and do together that after 1 or 2 years, and then some company, the good person, they come and donate something, and we do together.
So it is the connection also with the communities, with the partners, and everyone chips in a part to make it happen.
Yeah, you do good to the community, and somebody will see that and come to support you.
Okay, sounds good. Another question regarding mobile apps, once again. Are mobile apps accessible for people with disabilities, particularly with the blind? Are there any experiences in this regard?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. But up to now, we are just mainly focusing for the normal one. But in the future, that's a good way for us to have some special app for the invalid person.
Okay. Okay, another question coming in, and it's regarding COVID-19. What are your biggest challenges in terms of innovation during this pandemic?
The big hit is limited fund. You see that in my presentation, that the fund from government will be reduced this year and next, maybe I think next 2 years, no more fund. But I think that we cannot only depend on the government. We can share the idea and together with company. That's the main strategy for us when faced with pandemic during the COVID-19.
Yes, so the government cannot be the only source of funding. You have to look elsewhere. Do you have any specific strategy in this regard? Is it, we saw in the previous presentation, there are labs and open spaces where different stakeholders can meet. Do you have something similar planned, or do you already have something like this at the college?
We also have a very big innovation hub in our school, and we try to connect the company to invite. You know that in our school the Association of Enterprise University look at we invite them to come and offer them free of it in my school, and then they come, and beyond that we can easily to talk with them, to share with them the idea and some to find the needs of the enterprise. So that's a good way for the connecting enterprise.
May I ask, what are recent innovations that may have come out of your college in the recent years that you would like to highlight?
The risk? What is
the recent innovations? An innovation that you produced successfully and that was a standout prototype that you might have produced in the past years?
The reason why, you know, that in our college we have the very high quality of the lecturer. We are the top, the best college in Vietnam with the percentage of the lecturer in our college, and they are loving doing research because easy. Our research is for apply and for the lecturer, not research for research. So they do their research and they have the chance to improve their lecturer for students, and so get money from the government.
You mentioned earlier that you can produce up to 100 research papers with the limited funds that you have. So where are these papers accessible? Where, if I wanted to look up these papers, where could I find them?
Okay, we can have the website for publication, lead a publication each year, and we also have some kind of motivation for the person who have the paper published on the international paper or some innovation idea. We have, every year we have the policy for that.
And are these papers mostly in Vietnamese, or do you sometimes translate them also into English?
No, from the 10 to 20% is international paper. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. I would ask one more time the participants if there are any questions you would like to ask. Otherwise, I would extend a question about the future. We have 3 minutes left, so we're going slowly to the end of today's session.
Let's share with us the idea about how to face with the native COVID. Now we know that in Vietnam, native COVID is quite serious.
Yeah.
Some city like Ho Chi Minh or Hanoi already locked down.
So the future is lockdown. The near future is a lockdown.
Yeah.
But how about in 5 years? Where do you see the college expanding to, and what do you think? We know resources is one constraint that there is, but what else do you think does it take to move the next step for your college?
I think that we have the open heart, and we are loving the student. Based on that, the lecturer have the very long commitment to our college, to contribute for our college and for the society. And in the future, I think that we will be selected as one of the top 40 best college in Vietnam. That from that we get another support from government to become a center of excellence in the center of Vietnam.
Maybe on this part, you mentioned Center of Excellence. I've heard that in Vietnam, the Center of Excellence is an honor and a distinction, and shows how good and well your center and college is performing. But it also comes with the responsibility that you share your best practices and share your experiences with other colleges and centers to have an impact on the system. How does this work, or what do you want to comment on this?
Actually, we try. We try to be to do anything by ourselves. We are not enough experience for sharing, but we try to do it better with our the limited resource. If any school, any person want to get some information about our community support program, I will really to share. And I have my email on my presentation. So feel free to connect with us.
Okay, with these words, an invitation to connect, I would like to close the session. It's 5:30, and it's been a long day for many of us, I guess. So I wanted to thank one more time everyone for joining and for the presentations as well, and close the session today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for a lot of questions from me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.